contest. And so she played. She didn't too shy to actually sing it for us last night. But her name is Gracie Comer. And yeah, famous.
Cool.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. Well, we're just waiting on Bill. Call to order the public meeting, Arapahoe County public meeting, August 1st, 2017. And to my left is Ron Carl. To my right is Gail Stumpo, Assistant Clerk to the Board. Ms. Stumpo, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Jackson, absent and excused. Commissioner Holland?
Here. Good morning.
Commissioner Conti?
Good morning.
Commissioner Baker?
Here.
And Commissioner Sharp?
Here. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Carl, are there any modifications to the agenda?
There are no modifications.
Okay. Do I have a motion for adoption of the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Holland, seconded by Commissioner Baker. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. We have one set of minutes to approve from July 11th, 2017. We had a full board. I have a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Conti, seconded by Commissioner Holland. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Is there anyone who would, in the audience, who would like to speak during citizen comment period? Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Holland, seconded by Commissioner Baker. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. We have one general business item this morning, LR 17-001, Sky Ranch Wastewater Utility Plan, Site Location Application. Our presenter is Jason, whoops, is it Julio? Are you? Okay. Julio Iteraria is our presenter, and our attorney is Mr. Robert Hill, Senior Assistant County Attorney, and this is general business, but is there any foundation that he's
There's no foundation. This isn't a public hearing and hasn't been noticed as a public hearing. The board in this application is basically going to make a recommendation on a site application to Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, which is actually the decisional authority on the application. So in this case, Julio will explain the parameters of that, but that's, I guess, a bit of a foundation.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Hill. Julio?
Good morning, County Commissioners. How are you doing today?
Good.
As Mr. Hill stated, we're looking at LR 17-001 Sky Ranch Wastewater Utility Application for Site Plan Application. That is to say, with any development that's occurring, you need to have a facility for the wastewater where you can create all the fluids to go to and to be purified, et cetera, or used accordingly. That all being said, the reason why we're really here is that there's a regulation that the State Health Department has, Regulation 22. And your packet, for those of you that have had the opportunity to look it all over, and I'm willing to entertain any questions throughout my little presentation here because it was a pretty in-depth staff report, and yet saying that, it also could be very confusing. So just want to make sure that you're aware that I will not be offended if any questions come up or you want to say anything. But the major reason that we're here is the application that you're seeing on the screen. That application is literally everything that we have done thus far, from the point of the review of this location, the information behind all this stuff, is to have, and I'm going to just do a direct quote because I can't say it as good as been stated on this, to be honest with you, and I do want to have it on the record. It says, by signing below, the entity or agency, 1, acknowledges the receipt and the proposed site location application. 2, has reviewed the proposed site location application and may elect to provide comments, which we did. 3, has provided a recommendation concerning the application to the division, talking about the Division of Health in that regard. The recommendation should be based on factors outlined in Section 22, for example, on the consistency of the proposed site location application with, and this is a critical mass, local comprehensive plan as related to water quality and adopted water quality management plans. And it does meet that criteria. That's why we're before you. There's a whole lot of information that went into coming to this conclusion. However, from the request of the county commissioners is to have the chair, once you all agree, hopefully, to sign off on this. And that particular form, as you can see, Tri-County signed off on it. City of Aurora did not sign off on it. They do have an attached letter that's also in your packet, and if you've been following things between Arapahoe County and Aurora lately, they have kind of a bias toward things that are developments that are occurring in the county and would like to see them all in Aurora. That being stated, their letter pretty much reflects that overall intent if you read it over. I signed off on it as the planning agency, and now the last signature before this particular project goes to the State Health Department. And once the State Health Department looks at it, even though Tri-County Health and Planning has looked at all this, they will go and do an extensive review of it. And it's only after they have reviewed and completed that will they theoretically, or hopefully for the applicant's sake, grant them a permit so they can proceed. And that's kind of what it's all about. This is not like Mr. Hill said, it's not a public hearing, it's not a notice, it has nothing to do with zoning or any of the other things that you would normally see. This is just out all by itself, and it is something that we do on a irregular basis because it's only predicated upon a new development and that which that has a special district and all of the peripherals that are needed to get to this point. So I will more than happily entertain any questions. I will also state that the applicant is also here in case you have any real technical questions. Since they wrote it, they know it, I have a good understanding of it, so I'll be more than happy to entertain questions.
Questions? Commissioner Baker.
Good morning, Julio.
Good morning.
Can you talk, and I think you've done a great job of summarizing what we're doing here this morning, which is basically just voting to authorize the chair to sign our letter to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment and forward that letter to them, including the comments that we've received. Can you talk a little bit, as much as you can, about what CDPHE does? Do they send out referrals to other, like will Aurora get a second letter asking for input from CDPHE, and then also what we can expect, when we can expect to see this come back to the board, possibly either in a PDP maybe, or a FDP, final development plan, or anything along that lines. And I'm also interested, kind of 3 questions here, sorry, is if this has been does doesn't appear to be, and nobody signed up to speak this morning about this. I'm just wondering, and I know we're early in the process, but I'd be concerned about any public comments coming to us eventually in that process, and that may be a question for Mr. Hill as well.
This may be a tag team.
Yeah. I guess I can start out. I believe it'll be this month. Staff will be bringing a 1041 application on this wastewater treatment plant to the board. There will be a public hearing associated with that. The public will have opportunity to comment. That will be the county's more specific review of the location, the wastewater treatment facility itself. So that opportunity will come forward.
To answer the rest of your question, and there's more than one in that statement, will they send out any other referrals? The answer is no, at least not from the state when this goes. This will go right into the halls of the state, and they will review it and take their time accordingly. If they have any questions or statements, they may send it to the applicant, say they want clarification on the documentation that will be presented. We think, staff, and including Tri-County Health, that we're pretty close. We're about, it's always difficult to estimate since we're not the state health department, and we don't always look at things quite the same way. But for our comfort level, I would have to say that we're feeling pretty comfortable about this document. We've had many discussions, and your 40-page staff report kind of reflects some of that, I would hope. And the other thing is, it was kind of a double statement when you said, are you going to see anything else from this? Anything else you see from this will not go any further. You won't see anything else from the state health department. You won't see anything from staff on this from the state health department or from even from planning alone when it comes to this site application. Now, as Bob just stated, or Mr. Hill just stated, there are other ramifications that were triggered by just the general application that triggered the land use process and 1041 and things of that sort. But this is not a part of it. I hope that's clear.
Yeah, it was, very clear. Do we anticipate that the CDPHE process will be completed by the time we get the 1041 permit application, or is that a concurrent? Does that run concurrently?
No, they don't run even concurrently. They run on their own. Not one is predicated on the other or vice versa.
Okay.
The 1041 and all the stuff that you'll be seeing is only and solely you are the final say when it comes to the land use part of that. 1041, FDPs, etc. This is a one-stop shop type of thing. We do it, we get it, we look at it, we review it, and we do the best we can to make sure that this is more of a notification, if you will. I look at it that way, as more of a level of understanding that this particular applicant is going to need this facility and it's going to need a permit from the state. And that's pretty much where we're at. And like I read into the record, this particular process only really sees if the water quality issues are in the comp plan, and they are.
Thank you, Commissioner Holland.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As I understand the process, what you've done a terrific job of explaining, in essence, this is a pass-through for us to trigger the state to do their. I mean, that's essentially what we're asking here. I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
I wish I could say there's more to it, but there really isn't from that standpoint. All the heavy lifting has been done behind the scenes by the staff and everybody else. If you trust in your staff, hopefully you will agree with us, and we can go forward. Now, does that mean that that's automatically going to be approved by the state? No. It just is, like I say, it's a pass-through.
I have just a couple of questions, and they are really, one's related to this letter from Aurora Water, and it's on using groundwater. And I don't know whether this is, or comes to 1041, maybe it's not applicable right now. But so that's a question. Using groundwater long-term is one of the things that they say in here, without sufficient supplemental aquifer replenishment. So is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And the other question I had is, well, it seems, could they serve Sky Ranch if they wanted to? Aurora Water.
The only way Aurora will serve Sky Ranch is Sky Ranch annexes into Aurora.
Okay.
That's the only option that's been on the table for, same was true for Prosper. I mean, basically, as you well know, and I'll refresh your memories, Aurora is in a position where they would like to have 50 square miles of Arapahoe County,
right,
all the way down to the county line on the south border, all of which would be theoretically annexed into Aurora, which they'd like to serve. So consequently, anything that we do within that 50 square miles, we've been getting letters like this consistently. The other thing I wanted to broaden the comment to my statement of yes, when every developer, including the city of Aurora, continues to use the aquifer system for their water. It's known but not relatively understood. There's not a developer out there, there's not a city out there that could ever, and I say this, I don't use that word very often, ever accomplish 100% of non-renewable water sources. They would always have to use wells, especially in a drought. I mean, that's their only backup system. Now, are communities across the land trying to achieve and create more efficiencies along that line? Yes. This is just the first step for Sky Ranch.
Well, the only reason I ask is because Aqua serves people outside of our service area. They pay a slightly different fee, but they are served out of the area. But apparently Aurora doesn't do that, doesn't want to do that, wants to annex.
That's been pretty much their statement for years.
Okay.
Yeah.
My second real question is, so when does a wastewater treatment plant have to be, in this case it has to be built, but is there any, because there's no other entity to service this area, but how many homes or businesses can be served from one wastewater treatment plant?
This particular project, from its beginning to end, would be able to serve the entire Sky Ranch development. Now, as the properties get developed, as homes and retail facilities come online, the existing plant would be able to take care of all of that.
Okay.
So it's a graduated thing. However, this is for the long haul of 20 plus years, give or take. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball on how quickly development will occur in that, but
okay,
that's a general process.
All right. Commissioner Conti.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wondering, being the new kid on the block, so to speak, has Sky Ranch been resistive to Aurora's desire to annex?
Well, let me put it this way. The only way any community be annexed by a city is only if the owners of that property wish to be annexed. And at this point in time, I think it's fair to say Sky Ranch does not wish to be annexed.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, would you like to hear from the applicant? I'm not seeing anyone who would like to do that, but I don't know. Give you the chance if you want to come up and.
We'll see you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Baker.
in the case of LR 17-001, Sky Ranch Wastewater Utility Plan application for site location, the board has read the board summary report, reviewed the materials submitted, and considered information presented during a public meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. I move to authorize the chair of the Board of County Commissioners and the Planning Division Manager or designee under authority as the 208 Management Agency to sign the site location application form and forward the application to the state of Colorado for final approval and permitting. This motion is based on the following finding. The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment has to review the document prior to final approval for construction of the wastewater facility. Under CRS 25-8-702, approval for commencement of construction. 1. No person shall commence the construction of any domestic wastewater treatment works or the enlargement of the capacity of an existing domestic wastewater treatment works unless the site location and the design for the construction or expansion have been approved by the division. 2. In evaluating the suitability of the proposed site location for domestic wastewater treatment works, the division shall A. Consider the long-range comprehensive plan for the area as it affects water quality and any approved regional wastewater management plan for the area. B. Determine that the plant on the proposed site will be managed to minimize the potential adverse impacts on water quality. And C. Encourage the consolidation of wastewater treatment facilities whenever feasible.
Do you have a second?
Yes.
Motion made by Commissioner Baker, seconded by Commissioner Conti. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, that is all we have on our agenda. Are there any commissioner comments this morning? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned.
Space buffer project. Here we come.